Farming is my living. As you can see, in order to have this project running, we had to invest in fencing. Unlike St. Kitts, where they grow a lot of sugarcane and what have you, nobody fence. Though you have a lot of animals, but no animals is really disturbing you because the animal owners have to manage their animal. And if they have the animal, they put them on a leash, and if they move them from point A to point B, they're going to put on a muzzle on their mouth, and the animal is really moving through agricultural territory without a threat to the farmer. And this is what's not happening here because animals are just allowed to roam freely, as if they have the right of way of everything else. Well, over the years, I can go back and remember a moment I had a very large, about 1.5 acre of peanuts planted. And I remember very well that a flock of goats came in, breached the fencing and came in and destroyed that peanut crop. And even when I went and I brought the owner of the goats, that he saw the damage, he admitted to Mr. Hazel, they really did some really damage to you. But he cannot come to the conclusion as to how much it will value for he to pay me for the damages. And he said, get somebody who will do what we call an assessment. And I went and I get an individual who come along and look at the damage. And they themselves said, Mr. Hazel, the gentleman won't be able to pay you. So here was a situation where I lose my crop and not being able to be paid because the person involved had no money to pay. And that was the crux of the matter. And of course, I remember, even now while I'm here, home, one of the hard things about life is you finish your day's work and you go home, you're relaxing now with your family, and just about bedtime, after 10 o'clock in the night, a phone rang. Somebody came and called and said, Mr. Hazel, there's animals in your place. So I put on my clothes, came down, and I bought about 6 cows. And I then remember I called the person at the agriculture department and said, look, I'm having a serious issue here, right? Are you willing to maybe shoot the animals down? And they told me no, they can't do that. And that night, they drive around in the Jeep and they try to chase the animals, where the animals eventually find the gate and went through the gate. And then they're telling me if they come back a second time, call them. I said, what am I going to call you for? I mean, it's frustrating, right? And during that time, they affected watermelons and the other crops that was in the field, right? And this last time, this happened a couple of months ago, for summer, it's the first summer that we never have watermelons. For we had watermelon in the field, and the cow jumped the fence. I could not believe that the cow would have jumped the fence based on the height of the fence, and plus a barbed wire that is at the top. That would be a deterrent. But however, the cow was hungry because the owners are not really looking for the cows in terms of feeding the animals. The animals are left to fetch for themselves. And so the animal breached the fence, came in, and by morning when I came and I went and looked, every melon in the field was eaten. I could not believe it. Not one melon I could find because the cow destroyed that crop. The owners, they could care less because you can still see the animals still roaming around. It's an everyday problem because that's the reason why I told you earlier that I have obtained 2 dogs, because constantly the goats will come and push their head through the fence. And because we're living in an environment where salt is a problem, oftentimes you will never know until when the goat go and push on the wire that it break a hole in the fence that it can come through, and then you walk one day and you realize goat is inside, the weather comes in. So you now have to constantly scout your fence to see where the breaches are, and then you have to now go and repair to avoid the goat continue to come in, because wherever the goat breach, it will continue to come into that same spot. And so having the dogs now, I'm getting less of that with the goats, because the dog is constantly roaming the vicinity. Because I love agriculture, and I believe that this is the thing to do for our community, I stayed with it. But it's frustrating to a point where sometimes you feel like just walking away from it all.